Good afternoon. JSE-listed private education provider AdvTech Group is reporting a 33% surge in full-year headline earnings per share, saying the performance was boosted by good enrollment growth and improvement in collections and on efficiency. For more, we are joined by Roy Douglas, who is the CEO of AdvTech. Roy, thank you so much for your time. Let's talk about the period that was for the group, given the fact that you are operating in an economy that has suboptimal economic growth and the consumer is under pressure.
Yes, indeed. We do consider the market conditions here in South Africa to be less than ideal. I think all of us would prefer stronger economic growth, greater levels of employment creation, which would obviously benefit all. But at this point in time, the consumer's disposable income is obviously under enormous pressure. Education is, of course, expensive, but we do know that parents are prepared to invest in their children's future. And we're very pleased with our results because I think it's a really strong endorsement of the quality of our educational offering and the fact that parents are really actually joining our system, and we've seen good growth. So we're very encouraged.
What's your sense of the demand for private education right now?
I think it's very strong, and not only in South Africa, where I think the public system is really struggling to provide that level of quality education that parents are seeking. I think everybody appreciates that a really good education is a solid foundation for your child's future. And I think the public system is struggling, and generally speaking, individuals are acknowledging and understanding that they want to seek out the best opportunity they can for their children. So I think that's underlying demand. Of course, offsetting that is the pressure that the consumer feels under in terms of their disposable income because of the tough economic conditions. But we find these conditions similar across the continent. In all of the areas in which we operate, we're seeing good, strong underlying demand as parents seek out the best possible quality education for their children.
Right. The one aspect of the business that I wanted to talk about was the resourcing business. I mean, I do understand that this one was the hardest hit, especially when it comes to the pandemic and the fundamentals around, especially the placement side of things. Are you starting to see activity back in the resourcing side of things?
The resourcing part of our business is relatively small given the size of both of our tertiary and schools division, but nevertheless still an important component of our organization. I'm very proud of the management team in our resourcing division. They have worked extremely hard in some very tough conditions here in South Africa, again, because of those very difficult economic circumstances and the lack of job creation, say. But they've actually gone off and sought alternative markets, alternative geographies in which they operate. And really, the underlying strength of their results this year is from their Africa business, which has been growing extremely strongly and has done very well. There has been a recovery to some extent here in South Africa, but it remains a very tough area of operation. And I think, again, I'm proud of the team because I believe that they've probably won market share in a stagnant to declining market. So overall, a good performance, good recovery from the COVID damage that was done, where obviously the economy shut down virtually completely. But the resourcing business has recovered, and specifically on the back of their new business areas in the rest of Africa.
The one part of the business that I find quite interesting is the only online school, which is Evolve, which is targeting the niche homeschooling market. What has been the appetite for that part of the market since it launched?
We're encouraged from the launch of our online school. We've actually been very clear from the outset that we're not simply just another simple online school with paper behind glass. We've actually adopted some very sophisticated techniques which are based on the child's mastery of specific skills, which then allows the child to progress at their own rate. So you'll know a traditional schooling system is very much based on the child's age and chronological progression. What Evolve does is actually all development and all advancement is based on the child's mastery of skills. So that's at their own pace, and it can be faster or it can be somewhat more steady than their peers and colleagues. So it's worked well. We always believe that online schools are going to be relatively niche. I think an important component of schooling is, in fact, the social interaction and the learning through others, the dynamic that happens in a classroom and, in fact, in a school environment that is really important. But there is a place for online schools for those who specifically require that mode of delivery. And we're encouraged by our Evolve brand because it really is something unique and clearly differentiated in the marketplace, and it's performing well for us.
Right. In terms of opportunities that you're seeing out there, given the environment that we're currently operating in, how cautious are you then when it comes to finding those opportunities for more additional growth for the group?
Well, I think there again, we are fortunate in the education sector. Traditionally, it's always been considered a good defensive stock in a sense is that when the child turns a particular age, it needs to go to school. And as we say, the general model is that the chronological development dictates and you can't interrupt a child's education progress. So to that extent, we are protected from economic cycles, more so than perhaps some other sectors. And then again, we actually say that because the public system is battling in terms of the provision of quality education, the demand for us is further enhanced. Also, right across the continent, because of the demographics of Africa, it is a young, emerging market with high levels of demand. We're very confident about the growth prospects for our business into the future, and we're very focused on providing quality education, which is the key to unlocking that demand.
Before I let you go, you've had no fee increases for the past period. What will be the indicator for the group to start increasing fees? Will it depend on the consumer to be able to absorb that shock?
Not at all. We're actually very mindful of the pressure that consumers are under. And in fact, if we look historically at education, we believe that, education inflation has normally been sort of 2 percentage points above normal CPI. We see no good reason for doing that. We've actually been focused very, very strongly on providing value for our consumers. So therefore, we have a number of programs and initiatives within our business at the moment, revising structures, processes, and systems, all of which are designed to eliminate wastage and duplication. You'll probably appreciate that the education sector has not traditionally focused on things like productivity and efficiency and effectiveness. But we believe that it's really critically important at these times in order to be able to ensure that we deliver value to consumers. So that's our focus, that's our thrust. And in fact, we're looking to take price increases, which are certainly no more than inflation, at or around. One of the key drivers, of course, for us is salaries and wages. We want to reward our teachers and educators accordingly because we believe that that's where the quality lies. But on the other hand, we want to make sure that our price increases are manageable and within the realms of the pressure that consumers are feeling.
Roy, thank you so much for your time. That is the CEO of AdvTech, Roy Douglas. Time to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Africa Trade Brief for you.